Gotta see if you want. Okay. Great. Today. Is that all? Alright. Right, but I can't do that yet until, oh, here, let's see, is this it? Can we mute it?
Good, I'm good.
No,
Yeah, Ryan.
uncheck,
Hi, Ryan, nice to meet you.
uncheck that.
You
Let's
here?
see.
I don't know why I expected there to be more people, but whatever.
Usually are.
Concerned citizens.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it hasn't connected yet.
Marty.
They're connecting. For anyone.
Doug, typically we ask public member.
Over there?
Okay, so it's just more at the end there.
Okay, that's
Any
no
member
problem.
here at the table.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
You should be good. We're in the end, you're saying like.
As you say, there's not a lot of things, so if you like to sit back and.
Thank you. Sure.
We're slowly going through. But
Yeah, okay.
It's such a long years, so I'm on.
Got a call from Jersey Canada.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Did I admit, oh, Maya? Yes, there she is. Okay, now,
I think Judy is Sunnyside Community Services.
okay, are we admitting the others or no?
I think so. I mean, can we really keep them out? It's a public meeting.
It is a public meeting.
Yeah.
You're the
We'll just have
chair.
to be nimble in case something happens. I don't, you can't predict that
We can't, I
anybody's gonna do
can't
anything.
predict.
Yeah.
I have to just do
Yeah.
what I'm asked to do.
For sure.
I don't control other people. So then I'll just do that. Stick your hand on the button.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. I'll be able to do certain things from there.
Are you moving them?
Okay, there's Judy, there's Danielle.
I've never done a question about.
Do we know who Daniel is?
No.
Yeah, Daniel Wendlick. He's associated with me and why I'm here.
And you are,
My name is Doug Corman.
and you're here.
Yeah, we're here to do, to gather information and discuss if necessary. Park space development within this district.
All right.
Well, that's up to the chair.
Yeah,
Riley.
we'll have that in public comment.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Hi, everybody who's here. We're just gonna slowly work through the Zoom and make sure it runs well.
and you are live on YouTube, so you may start your meeting.
Excellent. Thank you for your patience as we get started. This is Queens Community Board 2, Transportation Committee, January 6th meeting, January 6th of 2026. I am the chair of this committee, Riley Owens, and I'm joined by Debbie Markel Feiner, district manager of CB2, and Mary Ann Garotto, as well as committee members here. Welcome everybody online. We are live streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, I couldn't make sure one was going.
We're just gonna go through the agenda. I think it's a short meeting today. Because we don't have much on the agenda. I will start with public comment. So, Doug, you're here for public comment?
Sure,
All right. You want to give us your name again and
Yeah.
typically 2 minutes,
that's
and
fine.
then if we ask questions, we'll have questions.
Sure. My name's Doug Corman, and I'm affiliated with a public space underneath the Long Island Expressway at Borden Avenue and 27th Street, over by the FedEx facility right next door. And in that area there, which is on block 292, and behind the two lots, which are 300 and 310, is an open space that supposedly has jurisdiction by the DOT, the city DOT. So I'm here to learn what the community board may be aware of regarding the Queens Midtown Expressway Rehabilitation Project, which began at College Point and is winding its way down little by little towards the stretch of area that we're concerned about, heading to the Midtown Tunnel, which obviously needs rehabilitation because it's been severely neglected and there's a tremendous amount of rust on the structure where each bridge section meets because it was not properly jointed to keep the water, the rainwater out. So it's become a bit of a concern by the DOT, and supposedly they're going to do a patch job. Now, from what I can see on the state DOT website, the actual rehabilitation in that section of highway does not begin until 2027, fall of 2027, and ending somehow by 2030, okay? So the concern that I'm raising, what I'm curious to know and share information with you folks, what I know and what you know, has to do with, I have no way of finding out other than inspectors have come around to say that something's gonna get done soon. What appears to be an unrelated project to the major rehabilitation. They want to just stop the rainwater from further destroying the skeletal structure of the highway. So what we're concerned about as community members, Daniel Wendlick, who is watching, is part of the group of us that are concerned that the space does not get destroyed in the process. The ground area that the community has worked very hard for a period of maybe 8 years, that was spearheaded and started by me. It has also involved volunteers from the Newtown Creek Alliance, with the help of Willis and his friends and associates. And it is mind-boggling how much was removed from the land over those years. And fortunately, we had some backup by the DEP that provided containers. And over a period of about 3 years, it was like 25 containers, if you can imagine, of debris that was removed. I worked with the sheriff's department to get stolen vehicles out of there and abandoned vehicles. There was piles and piles of debris that was dumped by people that didn't care. It was garbage from construction, everything from concrete to asphalt to just regular sewage garbage. It was mountains of stuff going up to the Newtown Creek, which faces the west side of that property. And we're just really concerned. We don't want to see the DOT come in with their strong arm of authority and just simply say, well, this is our space. We're going to take over now because we got to do this work, and all you folks have to clear out of here. We're going to blacktop the place, cut the trees down, and thanks for cleaning out the lot that we should have done. So it's just a total neglect of the highway, neglect of the land. I'm not here to bash the DOT, but anyone could go over there and see what they neglected on the highway, and I could show the pictures of what they neglected on the land. So we have an interesting plan to make a park space that would be just phenomenal after the fundraising would be done. And we would like to know that that's part of the project of the rehabilitation. So when they're finished doing what they're going to do on the highway, that we'll be ready to go to build out a park space to benefit the community, because the Blissville area that it's in is just dying for a public recreational space. And this is that very best space. And so there are a lot of people involved and concerned about what comes of it. So we want to start a dialogue of what these ideas really are, including eventually dock space for canoeing on the creek. Okay, we have great robust concept. I'd love to see a giant geodesic dome be built under the highway with proper windows to knock down the sound of the highway, probably triple layer glass, with 2 smaller domes adjoining it on the west and east side of it, where there's like this makeshift skate park right now, so that we can have beautiful greenhouses for growing and have a community involvement with growing vegetables and all kinds of things there. And there's an opportunity to have a little, space for maybe a little basketball hoop thing and maybe some things for kids. But I'm looking at seeing a beautiful auditorium, band shell type of thing. So the community from far reaching beyond the area could come and have all kinds of public events, whether it's having speaking engagements there, or possibly having a drama performance there, musical performance. And what's great about that location is that it's not near homes. So any kind of noise at night, it's an industrial zone, so it's not going to disturb people. We have a great concept involving growing things and having a gathering space and barbecues or whatever. It's just a unique situation of what is now a dead space that they call dead space in city planning. So I've talked longer than 2 minutes. Any questions you have, I'm glad to answer.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for coming to us. We have heard about this space over the last few months. It was first brought to us by Blissville Civic Association, which is Tom Matusas and several others.
Warren?
And Warren, yeah, and they asked us to get behind it becoming a park.
Been in
an
touch
area
with them?
that doesn't have park. Last month, we had a big presentation from
Willis?
Newtown Creek
Yeah.
and Big Reuse
Gills?
and Gill. Are you aware of what Gill is asking for?
Not fully, but I'm sure what it involves is a sort of green thumb type of thing, which I'd like to see.
Yeah,
But I don't want it to take over the whole place because it has such a unique opportunity in the largest open space of the land plot of the 1 acre. To put this type of dome, this, beautiful auditorium type of thing, that it opens it up to all kinds of events, not just greening the neighborhood. I mean, I know there are a lot of places in industrial areas where you could put trees and soil and things like that. I think that would be a waste of this space. I'm not against what maybe Gil was proposing. He just didn't come to me about it. I know they had their own ideas,
Yeah.
but I think in the end, Willis wants to see docks and access to the creek, which I want to see. The area that I cleared, and I spent a lot of money, folks. I spent thousands of dollars of my own money to do what I did, because my heart was in it, and it started 8 years ago with me just loading black garbage bags, little by little.
Do you work in the area or live in the area, or like, what's your interest? How'd you get involved?
I live in the area, right? And for a while, I was parking a vehicle there in the back. And little by little, it just grew on me, and I said, what a terrible waste of the space that nobody cares about. It was horribly neglected. When I started picking up garbage, I was getting like old Rheingold cans and bottles from when the highway was built. Okay, so I was picking up debris. We actually pickaxed the land. I have video of it and everything. We were pulling out cement chunks, clothing, plastic, glass, metal. You cannot imagine how much stuff I took out of the land.
Do you have a professional organization that is organizing this, or how does it work?
Well, we're trying to bring the different nonprofits together. I want to see the
Is your
Newtown Creek.
entity a not-for-profit?
Newtown Creek.
You're representing.
I don't have a nonprofit that I've established, only because I wanted to get to the sort of point that I'm at now, where I'm engaging you, identifying myself, sticking my hand and head up and saying, hey, I want to see something happen. If I could have a meeting of the minds with Thomas and Warren in terms of how this is developed, I suppose it would be appropriate that their organization would be involved with the Newtown Creek Alliance. I don't know who's going to carry the banner. I've been involved in nonprofits at the United Nations for 40 years, the Earth Society Foundation, a nonprofit environmental group. So I'm an environmentalist by my stripes. So I've always cared about that, been involved in other things with nonprofits and in the environment. So I'm concerned about the environment and preserving it. Believe it or not, folks, we have an ecosystem there. Every May, the geese come in and they raise their young in the yard. Usually about 3 separate families are there working with their children. And then we have raccoons, we have possums, we have a cavalcade of feral cats that keep the rat and mouse population down. We have such a collection of other birds, including hawks that nest in the highway. The place is buzzing and alive with animal life. It's just something that's a sort of a miracle to behold that these different species are hanging on in the adversity of the environment. You know, being a polluted creek, having noise like the cement factories, 24 hours making noise, you know, it's. I want to see something happen for the community. I really do. It was in my heart from the very beginning. I knew if I just kept bagging up garbage and cleaning up, people would take notice and say, hey, there's something here. It's worth saving. And that's what eventually happened. And that's how I met Daniel and Gil and Willis. It just sort of coalesced over time. I want to see the LaGuardia Community College have a part involvement in it. They have brought professors down there with students, teaching them by sampling the soil and the water in the creek, and it's been a learning experience. I want to see an educational component in this. And who knows what else, you know, like maybe a green market on certain days where people come and sell things, you know, that would be great under the dome. And the dome would make it a year-round thing. The dome would be phenomenal for, you know, when it gets colder, and then the big doors can open, and then the open air space in the nice months. You know, it's just kind of a wasted space right now. I'm afraid that the DOT is not going to respect it, right? So I need the community board to be aware of this imminent problem that's coming our way.
Have you spoken to the our parks committee? Yeah.
Actually, I haven't. I was planning on coming here on Thursday too, just to speak in
yeah.
a general meeting.
Oh, yeah.
If you
good
would
idea.
like me to come, if there's a value to it, I'll come here as often as I have to, because I'm concerned. I sort of should have come sooner, but it's now at that turning point, and the parties that are concerned are involved or are talking.
Yeah.
And now the DOT is coming imminently to do the first stage of that work. And you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna come in and swab the land, put up fencing and
Yeah.
throw everybody out. And
Do
I
you,
just-
you said you have a plan. Do you have like documents or?
I'll tell you this, okay? I'm an artist. I'm a graduate of the School of Visual Arts. I went there for 5 years. I could put something amazing together because my brother is the retired dean of architecture at Syracuse University. And he has already pledged to give me drawings of whatever we need that we decide on. So I can give you world-class drawings. My brother's students designed the International Arrivals Building at Kennedy Airport and the Bank of America Tower and stuff like that. So my brother comes from a very, how shall I say, a very rich lineage. He is the protege of.
Yeah, I only mention it because a lot of times, it helps for whether it's the full board or a committee to be able to visualize what you have in mind.
I could probably come back here, if not on Thursday, not long after that, with some kind of rendering
Right.
of what domes would look like under that structure. I could just do a quick thing,
One thing that I find interesting with what you're proposing is I was looking at all the stuff that's going on the Brooklyn side of the K Bridge, under the K Bridge.
Yeah.
So we have our side, which has a calisthenics and a little park where you can do, monkey bars and different things, pull ups, and then they have a skate park. On the other side, there's a third party community organization that is running under the K Bridge. They call it Under the K. They have their own website. They get contribution independently, and they're having concerts and music and all kinds of stuff. And it's this place that's very industrial that doesn't disturb other people for the most part. They're doing like top of the level, world class concerts and events. It sounds interesting, right? Wouldn't it be great to have? We were so deprived of park space.
I will say this to you. It's about an acre of land, and then almost another half an acre is the street alongside the dead end street where you may know 3 people died. So we would also like to see a memorial for the families of those 3 people be permanent thing in that area. Most everybody is in favor of that. It was a very sad thing. I was the only witness up early that Saturday morning that's heard the crash and the screams before they went in the water. And I felt helpless seeing that there was nothing there, no movement until the divers came and pulled their bodies out. It was a sad thing. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. The DOT was neglectful and it's been covered up and hidden. And it's sad that that's the reality of it, but they should have had a Jersey barricade from all along, so no car could do that. And ever get there, whether it was right where there are barricades now that they installed, or barricades down near the water. There was nothing except a skate ramp that the locals built. And there was just enough space for the car to slide through and hit a tree, bounce off of it and go in the water. I know everything that happened with it. And they just quickly put the barricade and there was no light there, so they could see that it was a dead end. And then all of a sudden the light appeared and they painted it gray to make it look old. They covered up their negligence. And nothing's gonna happen from that, but it's terrible that the government does that kind of stuff where they should have been more protective of life in the way. Same thing I saw happen in Queens Plaza, those two horrible things where they went through the storefront. I was around that as well. And they now have barricades there, so they can't happen again when they come off that extended part of the bridge. So whatever, I just am concerned. I'd like to float the idea of what I have as these big geodesic, bucket fuller geodesic domes. And it would be a lot of money to do it that way, but we have years to raise the money, and I'm sure we could raise the money. I don't think it's that much.
You
that it
said
could be done.
it's about an acre. The lots that you're
The
talking.
lot right now is an acre. If the DOT was to cede that dead end space to parks, you'd have roughly an acre and a half. And then the dome could extend a little into that of the structure.
The number of groups that are really interested and have been working on it there. Is it possible for all of them to have a footprint in there? To do what they wanna do, you wanna do the dome and have a space for entertainment or whatever,
think-
they wanna do their green space and grow anything. I mean, if for everybody who's been spending time and trying to develop nice area, it would be, I think also, if all the three, I think it's three groups. Distinct groups that
Yeah.
are involved.
I think we could have a meeting of the
Get
minds.
together, and
Yeah.
then you have more of a power to show all your different ideas and to present that.
I'm not gonna be boastful to you, because I'm more of a humble man than that. But when you think about how long I've been involved, none of these people came around me for years while I was cleaning the yard. And the space, little by little on spare time I had, and I don't think anybody's gonna have as robust a concept as I'm gonna have.
But
And it would
be better
include their
if you had
interests.
More voices.
Oh, yeah, no, I want that. It's not about me, it's about the community. And of course, I welcome their input, but if they take a look at what I have in mind, they're gonna see their place inside of that whole plan. I'm not here to tell you my way is the right way. Somebody needs, can show me that they have a better idea if they want to. But I'm talking about a green space and growing things, of course. I want to see that happen. But I'm talking about something that maybe is on another level than they're thinking about in terms of raising a substantial amount of money to make that whole park a real destination within this city, not just this borough or that community. I mean, it's gonna serve the community greatly, but it will be a place where all kinds of events can occur, and we're not gonna get noise complaints because nobody's really like living
When
there.
you're presenting this to a group of the community board, which doesn't mean here, it's someplace else.
Okay,
When you're presenting something like that, there are gonna be people in that community board whose mindset is the green space of one. So you want to present it as a working multi-group ideas in order to hit everybody that wants.
I like inclusiveness. I've always been like that. I've always been
So I
dealing
think
for
that
years
it's
with groups.
important that all you groups get together.
Yes.
Quickly, and make some kind of concerted effort to get a big idea together.
We're seeing the timing of that has now arrived. So I've reached out to get together to do this meeting with Thomas and Warren from the Blissville Civic Association, but they're busy people and they haven't been able to, they haven't been able to get together with me and let's really chat it out, and talk out what your interests are. 'Cause Warren already said to me, I don't know if you're looking at this space the way we're going to. But you know how it is, professionally, I'm an ideas guy. That's what I do. Involved, I'm an elderly guy now, but I've always been an ideas guy. So if they have things that they'd like to see happen, maybe those ideas can get put into the overall plan without a problem. Or if you want a green space, what I'm talking about by creating domes is not just down on the ground level anymore. We're talking about an elevation, and a dome can have a ramp inside of it, and growing can go all the way to the top. And there's tremendous amount of morning light that hits that side of the space every day. So it's a great space for growing. And I'm talking about two smaller domes connecting to the larger dome, and part of that dome comes near the smaller dome, so they can be connected. And then there's an open space in the middle of the two smaller domes. There's waterside space that's open where the dock area would be.
That's why I think it's
Yeah.
important for you to have the schematic to
Well,
show them.
Yeah,
so
so I'm gonna jump in just a
Yeah,
second.
we'll do that.
It's
Yeah, Riley.
been a good public comment.
Yeah.
We benefit from not having much on the agenda today. But just to tell you where we are, the board itself has just gone through a long process with the city about finding more green space in this area through the one LIC, rezoning, and then Blissville context area. We're always looking for more green space in Blissville. So as I said, this area is on our map. We can't select designs or anything like that, but we can get behind any, we did get a presentation last month and have sent a letter in tandem with the land use committee to say exactly this, that the spaces, the three different spaces, the shoreline, the skate park, and the underneath the LIE should be converted to public land, to public space. We gave the recommendation that it should be conferred with the people who have been in the space all this time, who have cleaned up the space. So if that's you, then you're involved in that. Big Reuse did come here. I didn't want to get all the way behind and say, yes, this should be Big Reuse. But they are part of the recommendation as somebody to meet with. So I think this is now the time for you to voice up to as many as you can. And I'll say, because it's a state property as well as a city property, and nobody really knows who can do anything there, to speak with the assembly members, state senators, the congressional members, council members, and just keep pushing forward. Sorry, I'm getting overcooked. As everyone said, draw up your design so that it's ready, and work with groups. Because it all sounds great to us, but we don't live in, I don't live in that particular area, so I can't say what's best for it, but the community says what's best. I would recommend coming to the Thursday meeting to voice this public comment to everybody, because there are elected officials there.
I'll be here.
And the
Yeah.
Thursday meeting is at Sunnyside Community Services, 6:30.
Okay, I'll be there. God willing, I'll be there.
All right, but thank you so much for coming.
Somebody.
Maybe-
And Daniel, I believe, may have similar views, so we're gonna listen to Daniel now.
Marty, says,
We're gonna unmute you in 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, good to go.
Hi everyone. Hi Doug.
Hi.
I want to emphasize that Doug has been living like so many other people. There are veterans that have also been living in and around and on this very land, and they have a longer relationship, and many of them are older people. So the relationship that people have to the land, and the transition away from the way that people have occupied this space in the past 2 decades, is pretty unique. And I think that as part of the transportation committee, and having maybe a larger view for how this area will change in the next couple of decades, I think it would be worthwhile to consider how a transition affects the lives of older people who have literally been living on the land. Doug has been cleaning and also living in the place that he's been in for almost 15 years. And it's a different way of living in the city for sure. And because of Doug and people like him, I've participated for the past 5 years in cleaning up Borden Avenue Street End. Willis, before that, had been cleaning up Borden Avenue Street End. It's always been improvised. There has not been a master plan there. But the Transportation Committee has a really wonderful opportunity right now. I wrote in a comment to visit and to understand at least physically what we're talking about, and then all of the details about how it might be transitioned into this broader public use over the next 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years. I just wanted to provide a little bit of context to where Doug may be coming from and the gap between us showing up tonight and what happens, what's been happening in this very space. I would urge the Transportation Committee to pay it a visit, see how it works, what it looks like, who's there, what's there, and yeah, be open to unconventional visitors, maybe. That's it.
Sure, yeah, thank you very much for that. I would like to visit the space, so I'll try to do that at some point soon. Just as far as what I think that we can do and what the board can do is what I've said. The way to get anything done that I've seen in this district is, I learned a lot from Tom Matussis, is just to bring it up every time you can. You know, keep it in people's minds, let them know that you won't let them forget it. And I'm not saying just me, I will keep this in mind, but the actual people who make the decisions, because the Transportation Committee may only have any say in what happens in the street where there's an existing skate park, I think. As far as underneath the bridge, I don't know. But I take what you're saying, and we always put an emphasis on listening to the people who are in the spaces, and finding out what they want for the greater good, for the broader good, for all of us. I think what everybody wants from last month's meeting is to see this as a public space. Yeah, so thank you. You guys good?
I think Judy wants to talk,
Oh, sure.
but maybe separate.
Okay. But thank you both for visiting and bringing this to us. As I said, we have the recommendation to make it a public space with a broader view to listen to the people in the space for what might be there. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again. And please feel free to stay. Judy, did you have your hand up? Oh, we may have to unmute you. 1 second.
Down a little, one more. There you go.
Okay, I have a different issue. Can you
Okay.
hear me? I have
Yeah.
a different issue to bring up, so it's not pertaining to this. Do you want me to go ahead?
No, yeah, we're just in public comment, so anything you want to say.
Okay, so, well, Deborah knows this very well. Deborah's done advocacy for us as well as the elected officials, but the bus stop on 39th Place is in the design to be moved to 39th Street, you know, between just a block or half a block across 39th Street. So it would be between 39th Street and 38th Street. We faced this years ago when Gert McDonald, for those of you who know her, came in and was instrumental in saving it, because back then, and we still continue to be very concerned about seniors. We have about 200 seniors who come to our center Monday through Friday, and we're very concerned about how they can navigate crossing 39th Street. They don't have to cross the street now. They get off the bus and they turn the corner and we're there. We're half a block up 39th Street. So we've heard that this is absolutely going to happen. It seemed that it was delayed for the summer, but now we hear it's in the plan again to move it. We see what they're expressing is the need to move it. We're not understanding the logic of it. So we're really very interested in strong advocacy being done yet again to try to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, I saw a letter where they we had sent a letter from this committee and I think from the full board maybe.
Right.
Backing you up and asking that the stop stay on that side of the street for all the reasons. It's a very dangerous crossing, being on a truck route in a major highway. We had asked that the stop stay, and months later, we got a letter from the MTA saying that they were moving it for their reasons, being that it just made more sense for them and for the, I think it's the separated bus boarding island that may be there. I'll have to relook up the letter.
Yes, I have a copy of it. I think it was written in response to Deb's letter, December 5th, 2025, if I'm not mistaken. So if you need a copy of it, I'll be happy to send it to you. But I will say that we're still really, really want to prevent this. We're very concerned about it. And so I think we just have to start this strong advocacy, unfortunately, all over again.
You know, when you're driving on 39th Street from the south going north, it's even very dangerous for anybody at any time because the lanes change. When you're crossing Queens Boulevard, you have a turning lane that all of a sudden is a turning lane onto the boulevard and a go straight lane going north that the cars then have to bear left to go down. So you're gonna be having seniors crossing that street on 39th Street with cars going in all different directions. It's outrageous. I think they delayed it a little because they were doing that, constructing the new
Right.
building where the gas station and the car wash was. And maybe now that they figure it's safe because the building is finished. But the traffic itself is not conducive to anybody crossing.
Right. And I also want to point out that some of our seniors have walkers. We have seniors in wheelchairs. I mean, yeah, just to make it even much more difficult to navigate.
I mean, if you're in a car and all of a sudden you don't know that your lane is gonna change, you are moving sideways and
Mhm.
you're not stopping for anybody.
Yeah, we can unmute Corey. Corey has a question. We're gonna unmute you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, and apologies I'm late. So a couple clarifying questions. For people leaving the community center and potentially heading east, the bus boarding for that is on the opposite side of Queens Boulevard, right, on the south side. So, just for context, they do already cross Queens Boulevard, which is much wider than 39th Street, to board the other way, right? Okay. I will say the logic for the MTA to put it on the far side of the intersection is because for operations, the best practice, right, is if you're gonna have a stop, you wanna have that stop on the other side of a traffic light, because otherwise you run into an instance where you stopped for people to board, they're all boarded, you're ready to head out, and then you get a red light and you're waiting even longer. So generally they try to put bus stops on the far side of the intersection. Now, with all that said, I very much recognize, right, like the context here is a little unique because of the community services center. The place where the bus stop is now is going to be like a giant car dealership. So it's not exactly serving a good use there. So I do support, the effort to get it moved back there. But just to sort of address like the confusion about why the MTA is doing this, and that might actually help, maybe get to a better faith argument with them. Like, hey, we understand you're doing this for operations, but this is like a unique circumstance. Riley, you mentioned a bus boarding island. Is there going to be a bus boarding island there?
I just found the letter. They said they halted construction while the bus boarding island project was happening, and now they're going to go ahead. But no, I don't think they say that there will be.
Right, that's referring to the one further up, right, to the east, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I know they just built a bus boarding island closer to 46th Street.
Like 44th?
Yeah,
Yeah, right, yeah.
like near Baruier's coffee thing.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Corey, could I First of all, I don't know who you are, Corey. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm a board member. I'm on the, I'm on the committee. I'm just calling remotely
Okay.
in today.
Well, nice to
Sorry.
meet you. And I'm
Yeah,
Executive
likewise.
Director of Sunnyside Community Services. I wanted to just actually push back a little bit regarding Queens Boulevard, which is wider. And, you know, we know that it used to be referred to as the Boulevard of Death, right? But I think,
Right.
first of all, they don't have to contend with turning cars, right? When they're crossing, they do have to contend with turning cars going from 39th Street. That's true. When they cross on them, but right, they do have to contend with that. Otherwise, their cars, am I correct? They're going
Well,
straight.
cars
If they're
turn on and off of Queens Boulevard too, right?
right across the street, though, I think you're right. They have to contend with cars going left on our side too. I was thinking you're
Yeah.
absolutely right about that. But I also think that in response to it being so dangerous, I think the light is slower in terms of it changing. I think. Am I correct about that? Because I think that was a response to making it safer.
Yeah, I
So,
know they have an extended cross,
right.
signal for Queens Boulevard. That could be an ask, maybe, right, to DOT. Give, well, obviously, what we want is for the bus stop just to move back to, east of the intersection. But I'm just thinking of alternative asks as well, right? Like that could be another way to address things.
Yeah, and I'm just, I understand you said that they often like to do it on the other side of the traffic light so they don't then pick up people and have to stop at a red light. I don't know. For me, that's not a compelling argument. I mean, I feel like they're moving it literally, what, half a block up or a block up?
Yeah.
It's just beyond me as to why this has to be done.
On a
Just
stop by stop basis, it doesn't seem like it makes a big difference, right? But they're planning the full length of the bus route. And, part of this is consolidating stops. Part of it is, relocating stops for better efficiency. They're thinking about the full efficiency of the bus route, right? And, obviously we have our needs too, right? There's a unique purpose here that we're educating them about, right? And we're in the interest of making it as easy as possible for seniors to get on and off the bus. I'm just trying to balance that out with there are reasons. They're not doing this capriciously or arbitrarily, right? Like they have a logic to it. And I think that can maybe help us, hopefully move this conversation forward, right?
I just want to jump in and say that they do plan on building a boarding island there. They were waiting
Oh,
for
good.
construction
Okay.
there.
Interesting.
Oh, the boarding island will be.
At the new stop.
at the new one. Right.
That's rough. That's gonna be hard to move. Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could resend it and advocate for it again because, and we have seen with the Queens Bus Network redesign, like at 58th Street, where there was a lot of community requests to keep the stop there. They did change their mind.
Oh,
So, see,
great.
I know Queens Boulevard is maybe a challenge to keep all the different flowing of traffic going, but we can resend a letter.
So do you know the 58th Street, what the argument was there? Is there something to be learned from that?
With 58th Street, it was kind of in a community plaza right outside a church and a school. And the stops that they were moving it to were up hills, up a very steep hill, which was challenging for, churchgoers. And we heard a lot from the church there, which, is the same thing. It's physical challenges for people who, maybe the city isn't always designed for. So I recognize that crossing there is very dangerous. And like Corey said, even in our letter, we advocated for, in the future, better crossing, safer crossing, but it's barely paved. I know they just repaved it. It's a rough place to cross. Maureen? Yeah.
I just want to say that I really support keeping it where it is, and based on what we've already said in our previous letter and what Judy's outlined, I think it makes a lot of sense. I do really appreciate what Corey has said, because I think if we want to be strategic, if we want to get it approved, understanding what their big plan is and why they choose these, having your expertise and like your professional life, knowing where they're coming from, maybe you can be involved in helping draft a the new letter. And I guess the other thing is, I think the 58th Street or whatever it was, I think they had a couple like public events where they kind of like rallies and things like that. I don't know if they had electeds or not, but maybe that's something that, Judy,
We're planning that more.
all right, so maybe
Yeah.
that can like, alert everyone and all the
Mhm.
electeds and get everybody and
Yeah.
a big media event so that it's called out. So people
Yeah.
can get behind it and make noise about it. But it makes so much sense, I think, for the safety. And maybe if there's some numbers, some data that we can get. I mean, there's open data from New York City, but also like what is the data that you have, Judy, on like how many people are coming in every day to the center? How many are coming in? Do you know how many are coming in from mass transit? Are you able to like quantify any of that so we can really push those numbers? Because my hunch is that the majority of people during the day that are stopping, getting off at that stop are probably a good number of them coming to either the community center or maybe the sports club. They're not coming for the new car dealer. They're not coming for things a block down. They're probably coming to the community center. So it makes sense to me.
Mhm. Thank you.
Maya has her hand up. I'm just gonna note that the new map just kind of points out that this just makes all the new stops equidistant from each other. They limited 2 stops and put this stop there, and I guess that's the main reason they're doing it. And they're
Stop
keeping
gets
it.
further down.
Yeah, so I could pass this to you guys. 39th Street.
Can I say something?
Oh, they're all-
Yeah, so sorry, Maya, you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, as a wheelchair user, moving that bus stop is a big deal for me. Like sometimes I take Uber, accessible Uber, and I had to cross the street. I had to wait like 10, 15 minutes to cross the street sometimes to be safe to cross the street. And for seniors, I also attend the senior center occasionally. And the bus is really convenient. We don't have to cross any street. We just turn. And for people leaving, if they have to go to the other side, some people don't leave in the bus. Someone comes and pick them up, or the center has also some transportation where that they can use. But moving that bus stop is really, to me, I think it's a big deal. And to all those who have walkers and who walk very slowly, it's a senior center, guys. It's not a school or a high school.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I advocate not to move it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think that's also like why 58th Street advocacy help, hearing personal voices.
Yeah, there is a church over there, and there is.
And I know that the assembly member there, Stephen Raga, was involved, and he certainly was happy when the bus stop remained where it was, and he sent out a letter about it. So making sure that our assembly member in this area is as much involved in the advocacy. Have you heard, is it?
Oh, yes, they've all been in touch with us and we with them. So they're all well informed. Senator DeGeneres, Claire Valdez, unknown counsel. Even, Julie Wan, we've talked to, even though we realize it's a state issue, right?
So one other,
like the DOTs, New York City DOT also is involved in where these are going.
Yeah,
Because
right. That's right. That's right.
Corey, what were you saying?
yeah, I think another argument that might have some purchase is pointing out that seniors already have to do a 2-stage crossing to get to the eastbound bus stop. And with the bus boarding island, you're now relegating them to another 2-stage crossing, right? Like they have to cross the bike lane to get off the bus boarding island, and then they have to cross 39th Street. So that could be a good argument to say like, hey, it's already a struggle to get to one of these stops, and now you're making it a struggle to get to both.
Thank you. So Riley, in terms of next steps, we're in close touch, as we said, with the elected officials. We're planning some kind of visible thing. We were planning a press conference, and then the bus stop was we thought they were going to remove it sooner, frankly, and it was there, and we were hoping it would be permanent. Now we know it's not going to be permanent. So in terms of the community board, is the suggestion that another letter be written? I
Yeah,
think,
we can write another letter
Okay.
And, you know, if you bring it up at the meeting on Thursday, if you're speaking, we could bring it up, but typically, I mean, I could bring it up to the assembly member in, their comments in the beginning, but typically my meeting updates are at the end of the meeting when a lot of people have left.
unfortunately, our board meeting is the same night because of
Oh, yeah, okay.
the new year.
I'll-
So
I'll bring it up to the state.
great. Thank
assembly
you.
Member and senator.
So we may, I mean, with the new mayoral administration, they might be a lot more receptive. I know DOT is the one that builds the bus boarding islands.
Mhm.
So, outreach directly to the new mayoral administration, there's a brand new DOT commissioner. So there could be, new perspective from DOT.
Patricia?
Thank you.
Corey, I don't know if you know, how long is a red light? How many
It-
seconds?
It really depends. And I think we could ask, we should definitely ask for them to, keep the bus stop where it is on the east side of the intersection, right, where the seniors want it. But even as an olive branch, right, like if we absolutely can't move it, at least give us an extended pedestrian phase, like they have on Queens Boulevard. That could be a secondary ask, right?
Well, my point was, I was thinking that in writing a letter, ask them which really is more important. Missing a red light and waiting another 45, 60 seconds for a new one, or having some senior, get hit by a car. The whole big thing we've been talking about recently are cars turning corners. And it was on 39th Street that a lot of this began on
Mhm.
43rd Avenue. So 39th Street is a horror of a street to begin with. And just come out and ask the DOT, which is more important, the red light, the way that their schedule is for the next bus, or having seniors getting hurt.
Well, I'd argue that I'd agree. And I think that, addressing the safety issues on 39th Street should be the priority rather than just, avoiding it entirely, right? There could be traffic calming down on 39th Street so that it's less dangerous to cross for everyone, not just seniors, right?
There could be a lot done on 39th Street, but it doesn't seem that they're looking at that. They're looking to make their schedule fit.
Well, I'm just saying MTA's prerogative is to run efficient bus service, right? DOT's prerogative is to make sure the streets are safe. The solution to unsafe streets is not to not have bus stops on them. The solution is to make those streets safer.
But what's gonna happen first? First, they're gonna
The-
put their island, and that's gonna be it.
Well, we have two big boy agencies. They're able to talk to each other and work things out, hopefully.
All right, so we have things to do, on this. We'll vote for a letter again, asking for the same thing as Corey says with the new administration. Maybe we'll hear better and, maybe, yeah. I think also getting, the state assembly members and state senator on board with more advocacy is a good idea.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It gets old. Last sentence of the letter, everybody gets old.
Sure, yeah, it's true.
If they live that long.
We're trying to help them build a city for everybody. And on that note, I will also ask for safer crossings across 39th Street on the whole.
Yes.
Look at that. And why not a protected bike lane? Great. Any
Thank
more
you very
public
much.
comment? Sir, you've been here. Do you have anything to tell us?
So,
Hello.
my name's Hal Schimmel. I live in the area for 1963. And I frequent three stations on the trains, and there's problems with three of the stations. Number one is on 46th Street, Bliss Street. They make no announcement for the 7 trains going towards Manhattan. Yet they make announcements for the trains going towards Main Street. That's one problem. Number two is when they put in the wooden platforms. I guess they're taking away the express train permanently. Is that what it's for? I don't know what it's for. And with no announcement, you don't know when the train's coming in. So you could come up the steps and the train's already pulling out because you don't see it on a local track, if you come up the steps, you would see the train in the station. All right, at Queensboro Plaza, there's no indicator in the station telling you when the next NOW train is. But on the far right-hand side. But when you go towards the front of the train, there's an indicator there. Now, yesterday, it took 7 trains to come to the station before an NW train came with no announcements. So you know how long that you have to wait? And then there's a problem of the 7 train, an NW train in the station, 7 trains come pulling into Greenville Plaza and it's pulling out. Yet there are times when 7 trains pulling in and you get on the NW and the conductor waits for the people to come off the 7 train, which is foolish because the NW runs every 15, 20 minutes, 7 train runs every 5 minutes. So why would they wait for the people on the 7 train? And plus, the noise is unbelievable from the trains on the upper level. It's unbelievable. It's deafening. It's like covering my ears. I'm also wearing a hearing aid. I don't need to. Okay, then next thing is Grand Central Station. They put in a new staircase there. The staircase leads to nowhere. It just goes to the next level. And then after you have two staircases going to 1 escalator. So with that problem is that the people on the left ride the escalator.
Is this on
People on
the
the
7
right.
train?
What?
Is this on the 7 train platform? Where is?
Yes.
Yeah. I will say we don't have, I guess we can ask, but we don't have.
So when
full Grand Central.
so you have to walk up the escalator. So if you're elderly or older like me, you have to walk up and people upset them and back you. But then they also have the escalator during rush hour going down, which makes no sense. And last week or earlier this week, the escalator was broken. And you have to see people people walk the escalator and you have people going down the escalator.
Yeah.
And I had spoken to them already and they do nothing. You know, how long could this happen? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, that's it?
I'd like to make a little comment.
Well, let me just answer a couple of questions.
Sure.
As far as 46th Street, that is a temporary construction. The express lane will be back, but they're doing a lot of state of good repairs on a lot of the stations right now,
Yes.
52nd Street. And in order to do that, they have to shut down one side, and that's taken over the express track, which is why there's the temporary platform.
Okay,
It should switch soon to the other side
yes,
on 46th Street as they fix the other side, 52nd Street. All of it was waiting on the 61st Street station to get its repairs, and there's been a lot of work in the last couple of years. Essentially, the MTA says there's no funding for a lot of work, and then they got funding, and it's all happening now.
There's
So
a
it's
staircase to
good.
put in, they have funding for that, and when it leads to nowhere. That's what I'm saying. If you have, why you put that staircase? No, you're saying you have a staircase, why don't you just make an escalator?
Yeah,
That'd be more waste.
this is at Grand Central on the 7th.
Grand Central,
Yeah. It's the new escalator that they.
No,
did?
and I'm saying, if you're gonna put a
New
staircase that
staircase.
goes to nowhere, why don't you just put an escalator that goes nowhere?
Right, for sure,
Right?
yeah.
Yet they raised the fare.
More investing.
We'll find out about the announcements. I'll be honest, we don't have a lot of communication with the MTA, but we'll try. Queensboro Plaza, no train times for the N and W. You seem to agree with that?
Oh,
or-
yeah, it's then the far end they don't have the clock, then,
On the far end of the platform?
yeah, it's on the west end, right? Of the platform,
Yeah, the one on the back
going
of
to
the train,
Manhattan, right?
the back of the train has no
Or the
indicator.
back of the train, I thought it was the front of the train.
No, it's the back, with the back of the train, indicator on the station I'm talking about. There's no
Yeah.
indicator when next N and W is coming.
It's going which way? Going,
You're talking about going towards Manhattan
yeah, and you're saying,
and going
the
towards, right,
I
Manhattan.
thought it was the front, but maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both.
But
Because,
it's bad, because you can't figure out where, when the
because I
next
get off
train's
at
coming.
60th and 5th Avenue, and I need to use the back of the train.
Right,
why.
right.
Right.
And you want to see if there's a train coming before you get off, so.
Oh, yeah, that's another problem, yeah. The 7 trains pulling in, you see the N and W leaving the station.
Yeah.
Yet the other way around, like I said, I'm waiting, you get the N and W, they wait for the 7 train to come. I mean,
Yeah. It's, I think it's, as you said, a New York City frustration where it's like, why didn't you just wait?
yeah,
A lot of times the train traffic just keeps it moving.
They haven't been here a long time, have they, MTA?
No, they'll come here with a project, presentation, but
Yeah.
not to hear from us.
They used to come every once in a blue moon for like, yeah, but you're right.
Yeah.
there's this.
Hmm?
Is it NLW the wording for 710? Sometimes signal problem, not clear the wording, but sometimes I say I get up train. And engine is move away, they're waiting for other train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Connection, but sometimes a signal problem not clear, they're waiting for that. That
Yeah.
reason, I think. I
Yeah.
think a lot of time.
You get off quickly to get on the train and
Yeah.
it doesn't move and you're like,
yeah.
great. A lot of these train lines are getting, the communication upgrades that the 7 train has.
Yes.
So the 7 train has like, 3-minute, 4-minute headways between each train. They're updating a lot of the trains. That's a lot of the work that we're seeing now too, that slows things down.
Right.
The NW, I'm not sure. I know the R train line and the F train are, I don't know when NW is happening.
And then sometimes the R train's crossing in front. When it pulls after Greenville Plaza, then you gotta wait again.
So that's the actual big problem with the Broadway lines, the NQRWs. There's a big bottleneck in Brooklyn at DeKalb Station. So I know they're eventually slated for CBTC, the communications-based train control. But it's unlikely they'll be able to get to the frequency of the 7 train without, de-interlining a lot of their routes. So I think the point's well taken that if there has to be a preference for which train to wait for, probably waiting for the N is more productive than the N waiting for the 7, right? Because the 7 is a lot more frequent. So that could be maybe a friendly request, right? It's like, when the schedule allows it, please, have a preference for waiting at cross-platform transfers between the N for the, and the 7. I don't know, but I agree it's very frustrating.
Okay.
Doug, did you want to wait?
Yeah, I didn't think that I was gonna be commenting on this issue tonight, but it's something that affects everybody, because most all of us use the public transit. I will tell you, I've been observing for a while here in the Queens community, the changes that they're making that you would think are supposed to be upgrades to benefit people, and I've seen instances where it definitely does not. There was on 21st Street in Long Island City, there's a bus stop they created on the corner of 36th Avenue, and people were in an uproar that they put it further to the south. And it was perfect across from the projects in the area where there's a lot of people. Well, sure enough, it got changed back, and so they wasted money on that. And they, thank goodness, didn't take out the shelter. So they just put this, they made it active again, changed the signage. There's another problem right there where there's another stop, and it's really messed things up for the storefronts where they need parking. Now, where I am talking about, they moved the bus stop from in front of Sparks Deli. And instead of that convenient place for the large amount of the traffic coming from people coming out of FedEx all hours of the day and night, because it's 24 hours, they have to now walk over the Borden Avenue Bridge on the darker street to go in front of Sugar Daddy's strip joint to be able to get the bus, which it's not a well-lit area. It's not a safer place. In the open area of Borden Avenue, it's just more visible, so it's safer. And it's more convenient, and it's a bigger, wider sidewalk that would have been perfect to put a bus shelter there. And if there's gonna be a park down the road there, I mean, I would think it'd be more, it's a better location for the bus stop for people that wanna go to and fro. So I'm just saying that, so you have it on the record, that should never have been moved.
Yeah.
So, I don't know,
We
down the
did get a
road.
lot of advocacy from Sugar Daddy Strip Joint for a bus stop.
All
So
right,
let's cater to
I
that.
take the 260 home from Manhattan to Queens. And what they do is now is the bus driver waits in the back a long time. And then he pulls up, people get
Yeah.
on, and then he waits again.
Yep.
And then you know what happens? They took away stops. So people will think that the bus is more efficient.
Yeah.
Which is not efficient because they're waiting. And then after what happens that more people get on a bus in Long Island City and you can't get off the bus.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
Yeah. So the bus network redesign is very new, so, as you notice things, we want to hear from the community about,
Okay.
where this is As I said, MTA typically does what MTA wants, but, we could raise our voice. All right, thank you very much. I hope we answered any question. The train is loud. It seems to be an issue. I notice, when people are moving into the high rises, the skyscrapers in the area, they're like, is the train loud? And everybody said, yes, the train is loud. You gotta get used to it. I've tried to talk to the MTA about, this is 7 train, the loudness there on Roosevelt Avenue, and they don't really have anything to do there. It's a future problem, but thank you very much.
All right.
I'm gonna close, public comment. Teresa's iPhone, you've been there. Do you have, if you have a public comment, please raise your hand. You would be muted. But otherwise, oh, yeah, you do. Okay, we're gonna unmute you 1 second.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, my child is screaming in the background. But I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Teresa. I'm here from Councilmember Wong's office. I've been listening and taking notes. And if anybody needs to reach out to our office, please feel free to contact us.
I appreciate that you're here listening.
Now we know why it was muted.
All right, great. Teresa, our DOT rep is not here, but I did want to bring up to him this month that Woodside Avenue received fresh markings late in the year, but they missed a few major crosswalks there. And I would love the council members to get involved in making sure that doesn't happen and that we see the crosswalks there again. Thank you.
Yes, if you want to send us an email on that, that would be great. It's actually really funny because my son is a huge fan of trains and he's often kind of making train noises in the background. So sorry, he's just like screaming. So if you want to send me an email, that would be really great and I'll follow up.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, that ends public comment. Our DOT rep is not here today. We found out just before the meeting that he was not able to make it. I have an update from him via email. So I will read that. He's feeling under the weather. So Joe, we wish you the best. Request for hardened protection and separation of bike lane on Greenpoint Avenue Bridge that we asked for. This is discussed with Bike's team and they will investigate the feasibility of adding barriers to the bridge. As far as replacing the crosswalks and striping on Woodside Avenue, they have been informed that much of the corridor has had its markings replaced. Please share any specific locations that may not have been reached yet. And I have shared that, but I will again. Addressing the Queens Boulevard Sunnyside Yards Bridge, which has narrow pedestrian space and a dangerous bike pedestrian conflict point at the Queens Plaza subway stop. He has emphasized the issue to our construction management team and shared the concerns of cyclist riders. So these are all things that we have sent letters about or contacted them about, and they are being discussed. Yeah. We sent letters out last month about the bike lane network in Sunnyside and Woodside. We have a letter going out about Greenpoint Avenue and Roosevelt Avenue specifically. And then that is it. Sorry. As far as anything else, DOT, does anybody have anything they want to discuss? Anything to bring up?
Yes.
Yes. Teresa, you still have your hand up. Do you want to speak?
So sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
Oh,
Okay.
no. Great. Thank you. All right. Anything DOT issues that we want to talk about? And I will say this is an opportunity for a shorter meeting after last month's 3.5. So we don't have to discuss too much. Let's do here.
Did I just say that?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going west on the BQE, I think I brought this up last. If you're going west on the BQE and you're on Northern Boulevard exit, you can't figure out what road you're supposed to be in.
Very bad sign.
It's horrible. I thought I was in the correct lane and then all of a sudden I saw a truck. So everything courses, there's like 4 or 5 different directions going across at the same time. Very confusing. They have to have the light change difference or lane delineation better. Queens Boulevard from 52nd to 58th Street has become a taxi zone. There are taxis parked there.
Queens Boulevard, where?
It's by Calvary from 52nd to
50.
58th Street. It's all taxis. So to me, that's a corporate taxi company who's using Queens Boulevard as their garage.
Where are they parked? They're in the parking lane?
No, they're parked all in in a parking lane, but it takes up 6 blocks.
Yeah.
So why don't they have a garage or a lot? Now, where do they come from? The hotel by the firehouse on 64th Street still has a jitney outside its door, which happens to coincide with the entrance from the main roadway onto the side road. People coming in at the same time, cars are driving on the side road. And the other day I was driving west on 48th Avenue, where it hits Greenpoint Avenue. It is that whole diagonal thing we were talking about last month. And there's a light there with a crosswalk. And about 45 to 50 feet from that crosswalk, there's another crosswalk with no light. Why? I mean, then I was stopped and all of a sudden somebody's coming across and I'm looking, what crosswalk are you walking on? Why? There's something very wrong with the crossing there.
Mhm.
There's one light and 2 different distinct crosswalks right where 48th Avenue meets Greenpoint. Very confusing. That's it for me.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask a quick question.
Sure.
I was hoping tonight there would be some kind of like public official DOT I could engage in. When would that happen again? In another month?
Yeah. So he sent a letter that he's feeling under the weather tonight. So we feel kind of lucky that DOT is here pretty much every month.
Okay.
So we can discuss these issues and they can bring it back to the team. We have a very good relationship with them and they're open to hearing from us. So next month,
So, but between now and then, I'm concerned with the timeline of what's could be imminent, because I will tell you something that you need to maybe ponder. Okay, I was approached by the landlord of the building, who I understand has come before this community board to get permission to have a cannabis dispensary in his place.
is this in the area that you were discussing?
Yeah, this fellow named Josh, who owns the building of
It
Sparks.
wouldn't be this committee, so we're not
Okay.
familiar.
So I don't care what he wants to put in there, it's his business, it's his building. He had to go before the community board, I understand, in order to get permission to have that kind of business there. He has a license, with the state. But the thing I'm getting at is that he said, oh, I got a letter from the DOT. And they wanted me to move, things that are behind my building away from me, the vehicles parked and stuff. So he said, is this yours? Is this yours? I said, we went through it. I said, yeah, well, I'll comply. If, you have an issue, we'll move this stuff out of the way. Because he said, I want to work on the building to get ready for them coming in. That's fine. He has trees growing under the foundation, damaging all this stuff. So I didn't get the letter from him, and I don't want to have to get it from Freedom of Information. So I don't know when they're coming and what their intentions are, because I just think this has nothing to do with the larger project that won't come for at least a year or almost 2 years before they start. So do you have a way of reaching out to them between now and whenever, instead of waiting a month and then another? Do you have a way of asking, well, what is the short-term project that they plan on doing soon, that the inspectors came to us and claimed that was coming when they checked out the condition of a highway? So they said they're gonna work from the top, but they also have to work from the below. So I just kind of like a heads up of when that's gonna start. And you could ask that and get an answer easier than I could, because from what I've done with my own inquiry, they keep it obscure. They just, whatever's on the website, you can't find anything except
Yeah.
freedom of information beyond that.
This has to do with the personal property, the land of.
Well,
Josh?
there's an extension, a pad of land that extends from the foundation of the building. So if you look at everything with this objective eye, understanding this, the highway was built in 1940, those two buildings were built in 1940. From cleaning up the yard, we've uncovered where the sidewalk and the curb was back in 1940, and the pavement is still there. You know, it was like an
Was it a
archaeological.
wider sidewalk?
Yeah, well, what it reveals is that that was the front of the building, not the board on the side. And that there are windows and doors that have been sealed up for many years. And so there's no egress or access from the backside anymore, what's now the backside. But I know the land extends from the building, so the public land meets the private land at a certain point in that area by the sidewalk, the old sidewalk. So we're just concerned when they come in, you know, when are they gonna come in and what are they gonna actually do? Are they bringing a bunch of trucks? Are they bringing?
I would say this is beyond my ken. I don't know.
You can't ask when the schedule is for that, that's all.
Is this an office matter to get him in touch with the DOT about?
I would like that.
Send an email to the office, we'll see what we can.
Yeah, like you know, we have DOT reps, but I don't know if they're the public facing reps that would
Yeah, I
answer these
just-
questions.
I'd just be curious to know what the schedule is of their arrival.
Yeah,
That
We need the location, the address and details.
yeah, so,
would be block and lot. I have the block and lot for that.
all right, nice, yeah. I love hearing some of the old history of New York and,
Oh, yeah, it's interesting to see that that's where people used to pull up, when there wasn't a highway.
Right.
That's what was there before the highway was built.
Yeah.
That was the street. So, and the old bridge is
Maya
still
has a
there.
question.
oh, Maya, yeah. Sorry, we're gonna unmute you.
I have a question. Is the DOT responsible for pothole?
For potholes? Yes,
Okay, there is this pothole, before when you come, you exit, you come to, on Skillman Avenue, coming from Manhattan, using the Midtown Tunnel. You turn left on Skillman Avenue. And before you cross the first level of the bridge, the beginning of the block, there is a pothole that has been there since I was driving to work for years. And now every time I'm in a car, I tell them to slow down because there is a big pothole. So I don't know why it's not fixed or what's the reason for, or nobody complain about it.
yeah,
There is a car dealer before you cross the first level, of the.
Fran, do us a favor, send us an email to the office with the exact locations.
Yeah, it's like on Skillman Avenue before before going toward 43rd Avenue, before the bridge, before the 59th Street, first level one of the 59th Street bridge.
yeah.
At the beginning of the block, the corner.
I think the way potholes work is there are independent companies that will fill the pothole for a DOT contract, and they're often very good about doing it, because they want that contract. I don't know if it gets done in the winter time.
They were
Very much.
this morning.
Oh, yeah. So the process is to do a 311 complaint, take a picture, send that 311 complaint.
I mean, I'll be in the car. I cannot stop and take a picture. Sorry.
Well, yeah, as much information as you can, because I think it does work pretty well. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it had been
Send
there
that
forever,
complaint.
and it's like steep. It's not just you cross and you go. You have to slow down to be able to make it.
Yeah.
If someone came from the tunnel using Skillman Avenue, they would know what I mean and where I mean. Where is it?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I have to call 311 for this.
Yeah, no, it's very simple. And if you have an app on your phone, 311 is very, very simple process.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Maury,
I just want to say on, maybe we can find out from Joe, on Greenpoint Avenue and 45th Street on the southwest corner, I think it is. They were doing the new cutout
Yeah.
and, they stopped, I guess, because of the weather or the holiday, I don't know, but it's just
Did it snow?
been unfinished for a while, so I don't know.
So it's just closed off?
Yeah, it's been closed off for like weeks and weeks,
If it goes below 32, they can't do anything.
so maybe that's why they're not doing anything.
It's a warm week.
Yeah.
This
Maybe.
week, so hopefully.
Maybe you'll see them out and
But,
about. They were filling a pothole on
That's a
the
good
this morning, so.
I could send him an email about that specifically.
Yeah, if we just know that.
All right. Corey, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I got a couple other issues to mention. I will corroborate Maury's complaint. That whole corner is torn up and, you know, they put some rubber ramps for people, but they're sending them out into the street.
Yeah.
And there's no protection for, you know, pedestrian passage on that corner. I could have sworn there was some kind of local ordinance that if there's construction that obstructs the sidewalk, they have to create a pedestrian walkway, but apparently that doesn't matter for DOT projects. And if it's gonna be like that until spring, something has to be done. It's just not safe, right? So I'll corroborate that. A couple other issues. Actually, on topic with Umaya's complaint about potholes, I've neglected to 311 this because when you're on an e-bike and you're paying by the minute, you don't want to stop. But the entire stretch of Roosevelt Ave, basically from Queens Boulevard to 54th Street, so basically the whole station area of 52nd Street, is just torn to shreds. It's really, really dangerous to ride a bike on. And there's tons of delivery cyclists, plus yours truly, that are riding over it every night. I mean, I could go take some photos. It would take about 20 photos to cover all of it. I think it's probably related to the construction work going on at 52nd Street, that maybe, that's part of the project, and so they don't want to touch it. But it's just getting worse with the cold, cracking more of the asphalt. Not to mention that roadway's narrowed there because of the construction. So you got vulnerable road users merging with oncoming traffic on a really rough surface. It's just really, really unsafe. So I'd like to formally request that be looked into. And then just to raise the flag again about rampant double parking, especially in bike lanes on 43rd Street and along Greenpoint Avenue, in the commercial district. So, between 40th and 46th Street, or between 42nd and 46th Street, it's really congested. There's a lot of double parking. It makes it unsafe for people on bike. But also further down in Blissville, right when you get to the LIE overpass, there's an auto body shop that just dumps all of their vehicles out onto the sidewalk, onto the street. I was riding there with rods.
Corey, if you have the address of the auto body shop, please send it.
Yeah, let me pull it up while I'm talking. Thanks. I was riding there with Roz, actually, our vice chair, on our way to Greenpoint on Saturday. And it was really not safe. I was kind of worried about, our safety. So this would be, I want to say, is it this one? Yeah, there's a couple bad actors, but one in particular is right at the intersection of Borden Avenue and Greenpoint Avenue. And then another one further down, maybe the Penske truck rental. I need to go and verify it. But I can follow up with an email to the office, but it's just, these are hairy situations. Bikes are lucky to have a painted unprotected bike lane or even sharrows. And even that, puny space is being encroached on. And it's just a bad situation waiting to happen. It's hard to 311 report these, right? Because, you report a vehicle, it's gone by the time the cops are there. But it's a culture, right? It makes the bike lane unusable. It makes it really dangerous. It discourages people from using it. And it's rampant on 43rd Street and on Greenpoint Avenue.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure.
Major problem. New mayor can tackle.
Yeah.
Um,
We've been tackling it in this district. It's a major problem.
yeah, no, I appreciate that you put so much focus on it. And bring it, and Debbie brings it up to the 108 precinct at every meeting. Thank you very much. Yeah, what's up?
Making complaint that we're discussing.
MTA, bus Q60 and Q66. I work in 35th and Pakistan Avenue, I drop my taxi and then I come back to 35th bus stop. Q60, almost time they don't stop it. I mean, sometimes I open my Omni card to fly and they're showing that I'm passenger, doesn't care, over it. Yeah, a lot of time I see that. Summer time, winter time, they do the same thing. And all the Q66, sometimes I take the train, I get up the Queensborough Plaza, then I cross the bus. 2 minutes earlier, all the time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes earlier, bus dispatch. And sometimes one driver of inside the bus is sleeping. The time is over. Like 3:30, he's sleeping 10, 15 minutes on the inside. If somebody knocked it, after that he's shouting, "Why you bother me?" I see several times.
The buses stop there?
Yeah,
And
the
drivers
parking, they're
sleep?
sleeping, yeah.
Yeah. Cause that's the part of the route?
But they sometimes come early, they have a time, they sleep the
Really?
yeah, late.
Okay.
Balonai Bondo.
Going to Lalona. Even if you make the 2 minutes earlier the bus dispatch, I get waiting for another 30 minutes. Summertime is okay, but the winter time is very difficult to wait again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all,
And you said this is 35th Street and 43rd Avenue?
no, the Queens Boulevard, the CQ60,
Q60.
yeah. And Q66, 28th Street, Queens South.
28th and Queens South.
Queens South, yeah. You don't have stress, they know the sleeping in night time, you don't know they don't care about.
But it's cold, so they must have,
How much
they
time
must be
they-
idling.
Summertime is fine, there's no 30 minutes waiting, but winter time is very difficult to won't see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's wild, yeah, thank you. As far as your Q60 stop, what stop was that?
Q60, 35th at Queens Boulevard.
35th in Queensville.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to make sure they get there on time. That's why they don't stop to pick up the passengers.
For sure.
Same bus that's coming down,
So they go
Boulevard
right-
on 39th Street.
Night time, they're supposed to be, so I also have to display my metro card, yeah,
Yeah.
Omni card, they can see it. Don't care, to run away.
Yeah. Trying to make a way.
Like,
All right. How's that? How are we feeling, guys?
Is that it?
I think so. Yeah, we have nothing else, really. I will say I attended, a DOT presentation on Court Square. There's a pedestrianization project happening there. They're gonna change some streets, and make it very nice. I'm gonna ask them to bring that presentation next month, because it looks very good. That's it.
Great.
Okay,
was
you wanna
it
make a?
small streets like the Pleasant Street or something?
It's, Thompson. Let's see.
Thompson and
There's some real wiggly streets and all.
Yeah,
Thompson is like near 44 Road or whatever.
So they'll present.
so I'm talking about Court Square Park.
Oh.
Yeah, Court Square Park. And so. They're essentially pedestrianizing Court Square West and turning I think that's Thompson into a one-way street there. To limit vehicle traffic and just increase the pedestrian space. But it's a very, very cool thing, so I'll ask DOT to bring the presentation. So
Awesome.
it's in the planning stages. All right, do you want to
Move
make
to
a motion?
adjourn?
Yes, Seconded?
By the way, I have a video clip, if any of you would like to look at it at the land, it's a very short clip. You can get a little feeling of what goes on there.
yeah,
Second.
yeah, I'll go.
Anybody second it?
Seconded, all right.
All in favor?
Thank
All in
you.
favor, dismiss?
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Thank you, everybody.
You, Thursday.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Teresa.